Hello world, this is Stefan of Lendrigan Games. Like almost everything else in the creation process, learning the Godot engine has been a pile of frustrations. Granted, the primary source of frustration has been me. Learning a new game engine requires acting as though you know nothing at all. And it's hard to accept that you know nothing about how an engine runs when you've just spent several months learning about another engine. The plus side to getting a bit ahead of myself, though, is that the next update with an animated Minotaur will be out more quickly than this one was. The other source of frustration has been the age of the tutorials. I've been watching the tutorial series from Game from Scratch, and it has been 95% useful. The aggravating 5% stems from the fact that I've been watching a tutorial for Godot 1.0 and the current version is 3.0, so the scripting language has gone through some sentence structure revisions. I still recommend to any newcomers watch the old tutorials while the new ones are being released, and then go on Ecosia to look up the error messages. Other than that, a separate reason for the long delay was my transition between jobs. At the beginning of May, I gave my old job a 2-month notice, and in the middle of June, found my next one. Consequently, I ended up working 2 jobs for the last week of June. I'm now working stable hours! Hooray! My new job is that of a night stalker, a title that just feels incomplete within an 80-synth soundtrack. And despite its paying less, I love it. I go in, stock the beer fridge, clean the floors, go home, and talk to nobody the whole time. Now that I'm not working a shift job, I have rhythm back in my life, and it's great. Consequently, because I'm now working a much lower paying job, crowdfunding has become even more necessary for me. So if you like video games, donate to my Patreon. Not only will you be helping me, you'll be helping America. Unless you hate America. In that case, donate to my Patreon and you'll be hurting America. This job transition has given me cause to suspect that someone beyond myself has a personal interest in seeing this game succeed. I don't mean some NSA or Illuminati figure either. Harkening back to my previous ramble, I'm unable to believe that the universe runs on only blind, unknowing forces. I say that because the circumstances surrounding the timeline of events have been too perfect. When I realized that I needed to leave my previous job, my instincts were reacting best to the end of June as opposed to the ends of May and July. Lo and behold, the middle of June is when the interesting things happened. Those being finding my next job and the souring of circumstances in my old one. A problem which I discovered had been actually bubbling for a while before it erupted. Had I ended my employment alongside July, I would have had some very major problems. The secondary one would have been that the tensed atmosphere of the old job would have persisted for 6 weeks instead of 2, possibly even goading me into trying to fix it. The main issue, though, is that because I started my new job on the last week of June, working 2 jobs for 5 weeks instead of 1 probably would have killed me by now. My feet just recently recovered fully from the 1-week stint. As for why ending in May would have been harmful, that reason involves how I got my new job. On Fridays, I go out to a bar to drink and sing karaoke. In mid-June, I came across a conversation involving a lady I don't recall seeing before, wherein she was talking about how the new hire at her place was doing a horrible job at keeping things stocked and how he was preferring to talk rather than work. I asked if they wanted a new stocker, and the rest is history. Granted, this is thankfully only speculative, but I don't know that I would have been there at that time had I been looking for a job and trying to cut back on spending. Beyond the timing, the job itself is exactly what I need. Being part-time and only in the evenings, it leaves me all of my afternoons for working on game development. And the pay necessitates that I crowdfund, which is further within reach now that I have the time to pursue it. Because a job practically custom tailored to my needs fell into my lap at the exact right time, I stand by the assertion that someone else out there wants me to continue my work. Also, he's going to want results.